back to like the conflict between Pat Buchanan and the neocons, the paleocons and the neocons, the American Conservative Magazine versus National Review, Ron Paul versus Mitt Romney during the Republican debates. This is a longstanding dispute. I think it's never been more clear now that America First is sort of the dominant faction within the GOP base, that Israel and the Israel lobby are an impediment to achieving the kind of American sovereignty that America First preaches. So it's made life a lot harder for people like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. And here's Ben Shapiro's kind of loyal stooge, kind of like his Shabbos goy, Matt Walsh, who has taken a break from fixating on transsexuals to attack Palestine solidarity protesters. In the past week, we've seen Palestine protesters chanting "Death to America," threatening to murder public officials, and now blocking traffic. These people are anti-American scumbags, and anyone who's truly America First should treat them with the contempt they deserve. And he's pumping out tweet after tweet, demanding that America First condemn Palestine solidarity protesters. And basically, this is a cheap trick because, there are a lot of like freaks and misfits involved in any dissident movement in the US, and just pointing to them and the fact that they are woke is like a trick that right-wingers use to deflect from the reality, or to deflect from the contradictions of it within America First for supporting Israel, to deflect from that contradiction that ironclad support for Israel contradicts American interests. So that's what he's doing on behalf of Ben Shapiro, and it speaks to the frustration that he feels as more and more on the right turn away from this. And I responded just, that nobody believes the Daily Wire or the Israeli Wire, and just a reminder that Netanyahu declared that the 9/11 attacks were good for Israel. He actually said this in a speech at Bar-Ilan University, which was reported by the Israeli publication Ma'ariv. And it was clear at the time when Ariel Sharon whispered in George W. Bush's ear, Arafat is our bin Laden.
God.
Israel really enjoyed, and Israel wanted the U.S. to become overextended after 9/11. And
that just shows how fanatic Israel is, because Arafat was, in fact, Israel's collaborator. He was willing to sell out. Well, he was. He was. I mean, he signed the Oslo Accords. I mean, he was a collaborator. And now, near the end of his life, it's true, he kind of grew a little bit of a spine, and he rejected the Camp David farce. So fair enough. I mean, he wasn't a complete, I shouldn't say he wasn't a total collaborator, but he did collaborate before that. But Israel was so determined to steal all the Palestinian land that it wanted, that even when Arafat was willing to, just accept 22% of Palestine, which was a big compromise for Palestinians, Sharon and Ehud Barak couldn't accept that.
I don't want to get into it, but I wouldn't call Arafat a collaborator. I mean, he's someone who put Palestine on the map, risked his life resisting Israel, and was not a loyal enough collaborator when he assumed the role of Palestinian Authority chairman, resulting in his likely assassination. He also seemed to outsource armed attacks and resistance against Israeli soldiers involved in enforcing the occupation during the Second Intifada to Marwan Barghouti, which is why Barghouti is in prison, who was the leader of the Tanzim faction at the time. So I don't feel comfortable calling him a collaborator like I would refer to Abbas.
Fair enough. That's fair. Yeah.